Welcome to the Gavel. I'm Terry Ikumi. We have a lot to unpack today, so let's get right into it, beginning with the presentation of the 2026 budget by President Bola Tinubu before a joint session of the Senate and House of Representatives. In laying the budget tagged Budget of Consolidation, Renewed Resilience and Shared Prosperity, the President urged Parliament to support the administration to end the cycle of rolling over budgets.
We are terminating the habit of running 3 budgets on one inflow. By March 31st, 2026, all capital liabilities from previous years will be fully funded and closed. From April, Nigeria operates on a single budget, backed by a single revenue cycle. No overlaps, no excuses, no rollovers culture. I have issued directives to the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Accountant General of the Federation, and the Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation to ensure that the 2026 budget is implemented strictly in line with appropriated details and timelines. We will usher in a new era of criminal justice. We will show no mercy, I repeat. Under this new architecture, any armed group or gun-wielding non-state actors operating outside the state authority will be regarded as terrorists.
And here are some of the reactions that trailed the presentation of the budget by the president.
I see also a president who is in terms with the current realities, having acknowledged the shortcomings of the implementation of the 2024 and 2025 budget years.
I think that this budget of consolidation will be able to tackle matters that has to do with fiscal discipline, and I'm happy the president said we're going to have one budget in a year, and this will lead to what we can call budgetary discipline.
What Nigerians are expecting will be positive impact of this budget on the lives of Nigerian people.
Basically, he's focusing on the fundamentals, the security, education, infrastructure, and of course, food security. So I think for me, he has said very clearly that it's a budget of consolidation, and the budget he has presented has actually shown that it's a budget of consolidation.
Capital projects to the end of 2025 shall all be consolidated by March 2026, which means by April next year they shall all be closed. Be closed in the sense that they shall all be implemented. That should be commended.
My position is that the most realistic message of the budget is to say that this 2026 budget is to harmonize every existing budget and to put a stop to implementing budgets of 3 budgets on a row.
President Tinubu have said it all, and you can see what he said. This is 2026 going to be a single budget, which is what all Nigerians are asking for.
The attention now is basically on the revenue aspect, and you know the tax law is starting 1st January, and by that projection, I believe this shortfall should be, if not eliminated, should be minimized. And you know, even customs that I chair, this year they surpassed their revenue, I think maybe up to 2 trillion, but let us see the total figure by 31st December of this year. So, and I believe in next year, they will do better.
The president has budgeted over 10% of the budget for security, to fight insecurity, and he has also labeled all non-state actors who are carrying arms in the country as terrorist organizations. So we think he has a clear focus and agenda of what he wants to achieve, and we hope that the implementation will be properly achieved, just like he himself has stated, that the budget is only good when it is implemented.
Security, we know what we have been passing through, and it's supposed to be the cardinal point of every budget cycle between now and in the next 5 years. So he got it right.
Meanwhile, both chambers of the National Assembly have passed the 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. A summary of the revenue and expenditure framework shows daily crude oil production pegged at 1.84 million barrels per day, exchange rates projected at $1.512 to the naira, and inflation rate at 16.5%, expenditure at 54.46 trillion naira, fiscal deficit 20.12 trillion naira, and debt servicing at 15.91 trillion naira, among others. The upper chamber has also confirmed all the ambassadorial nominees for career and non-career ambassadorial positions, following consideration of reports by the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
I congratulate those who have the opportunity to go and save Nigeria. And I just want to remind them of the reality of life. That whilst you are breathing and you have the opportunity, give your best to your country so that the legacies you achieve whilst alive will live after you. I congratulate the Committee on Foreign Affairs, headed by my colleague, distinguished Governor Bello, for doing a wonderful job with his team. And I congratulate the entire Senate for their contributions, and also congratulate Mr. President, because now we are going to have a voice internationally in almost in all the countries that these ambassadors are going to be sent to. I wish them well, and I pray that they will be good ambassadors of Nigeria.
Some lawmakers, however, raised concerns about the absence of nominees from the FCT and Zamfara State.
I went through this very list you have just finished confirming. That is the ambassadorial nominees. And to my dismay, I couldn't find Zamfara State on the list. None, both career and non-career. I wonder, I wouldn't say that, I believe it must be an oversight by some officials that will have lose the hands and eyes of Mr. President. So therefore, sir, I would want us to draw the attention of Mr. President that Zamfara State needs his, we need also to be included in this ambassadorial nomination.
FCT supposed to be treated like a state, and we've always had an ambassador, and we're not included in this list.
In the meantime, a motion from Senator Ireti Kingibe was short-lived after lawmakers began to question what they described as the lumping together of several unrelated issues in a single motion, which they say is at variance with the Senate rules.
Deeply troubled that sewage systems across the FCT have been blocked and overflowing for nearly 8 months, with accumulated waste and untreated emissions now reaching catastrophic levels, constituting a clear and present danger of epidemics, environmental contamination, and large-scale public health disaster. Aware that the continued failure to clear sewage and waste exposes residents to cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and other waterborne and sanitation-related diseases, and represent an unconscionable breach of the government's duty of care to citizens. Alarmed that in several instances, even where land disputes are subject to ongoing litigation, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has allegedly proceeded with demolitions, revocations, and reallocations in flagrant disregard of subsisting court processes, thereby eroding the rule of law, contemptuously disregarding judicial authority, and violating the Land Use Act and other extant laws. Concerned that the egregious case of the University of Abuja, a critical national institution whose lawfully allocated land has been severely depleted, with approximately 7,000 hectares out of an original 11,000 hectares taken over, reallocated, and subjected to unauthorized use.
We are ashamed of how things were going in Abuja. No street light, the roads were not well maintained, and so on and so forth. But when the current minister came on board, the entire scenario changed. We're having good roads now. We're having street light everywhere. You cannot solve all problems at the same time. If there are certain areas that are yet to be covered, all we need to do is to tell our committee, go and tell the minister, the hardworking minister, tell him to look at those areas and correct them. I think we should use this approach. For someone who has been doing well, you remember, Mr. President, we're all engaged throughout about 24 days or 30 days going to commission this project, the one project or the other. You were there, you commissioned. I also commissioned. So for us that have seen all these, I think what we need to do, this minister or the administration, is to allow the committee to interact and say, oh, you are doing very well, but so-so and so-so area need your attention.
Mr. President, but for the content of Order 4151, which required the distinguished senator to show you her motion, what she intended to present through that Order 4151. From your explanation, you were not briefed with all the details of this motion before you permitted her to go on. Otherwise, Mr. President, the content of the section on waste management is a very serious matter for this Senate to discuss.
The Senate is to decide, is this matter a matter of urgent public importance? You know, we have seen that she did not comply with Order 41 because you told us that she didn't brief you. You were not seized of the details of this motion. She only talked about waste management. She didn't talk about all the other things when she discussed with you.
This motion has raised very weighty issues concerning the welfare of the citizens, especially Abuja residents and visitors to Abuja, whereby if urgent step is not taken, it is going to negatively impact on their health and their living standards. Because of the weighty allegations in this motion, based on the principle of audi alteram partem, here the other side, I will urge that we support this motion for investigation by the relevant committee to hear the other side in consonance with the principle of audi alteram partem and report back to the Senate for necessary legislative action.
Senator Kingibe was then given the opportunity to withdraw the motion and resubmit it as a substantive motion limited strictly to waste management issues. President Bola Tinubu within the week wrote to the Senate seeking expedited confirmation of Orisha Eyesan as CEO of the NUPRC and Said Mohammed as CEO of the NMDPRA following the resignations of Mr. Farouk Ahmed and Mr. Gbenga Komolafe.
We've always been wondering, how can we account for the oil Nigeria produces?
We must convert the oil to meaningful products for domestic use and also for export. The same thing as gas. How can we be impoverished? We do not have light. We struggle with light, and we are sitting on over 200 trillion cubic feet of gas. It is unthinkable. How do we harness it? And I believe working together, it's got to be collaboration.
The vast of investments required in the midstream are enormous. How do we get, for example, transporting our petroleum products more efficiently?
Subsequently, the Senate confirmed their appointment on Friday, the 19th of December. Welcome back to the Gavel. Let's turn our attention to the House of Representatives now.
Concerned that the deplorable conditions of the road has led to incessant accident, loss of life, and destructions of goods and vehicle prolongs traffic gridlock. Resolve, in collaboration with relevant agency, to immediately open the closed section of Gogolada, Abaji, Kotonkarifi, Lokoja Expressway, particularly during this Xmas, to ease traffic and congestion for travelers.
A matter of privilege was raised by Representative Abdusamad Dasuki concerning the new tax laws.
We passed the tax laws on this floor, and Mr. Speaker, I took my time in the last 3 days to look at the gazetted past copy, the vote and proceedings of the House of Representatives, and also went an extra mile to look at the vote and proceedings of the Senate of what was harmonized. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what I passed on this floor is not what is gazetted. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I have all the copies, but I'm coming under privilege because I was here, I gave my vote, and it was counted, and I'm seeing something completely different.
Your observation is noted and action will be taken. I assure you that.
The following day, a committee was set up by the Speaker to review the laws. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has conceded and approved the report of its Committee on Electoral Act amendments. During the consideration, concerns were raised on several proposals, one of which is Clause 29, which deals with disqualification of candidates.
Conduct empowerment programs, motorcycles, motor cars, education machines. Now, these items can be misconstrued. And therefore, this section, I move that we expunge this section completely because of mischief. It can be misconstrued.
It is your duty. You are acting within the confines of your duty to empower, to build road, to send people for education, to do human capacity building. Those are the product of representative function of a parliamentarian. So anybody coming to say that is seen as inducement, the question you ask the court will be, where does your responsibility and mandate stop as a representative of your people? Who should carry their needs and provide solution to them?
What if my enemy confesses or gives evidence against me that I've induced him for money? This particular section should be expunged because a lot of ambiguity is surrounding this particular section. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support that we expunge, you say aye. Aye. There's no need to add the second leg of the question, but I'll just fulfill all righteousness. Those who are not in support say nay. They are not here. The ayes have it.
Clause 54 seeking to address concerns around accompanying a voter into the voting compartment also received mixed reactions from the House. Subsequently, the House maintained the clause that no political party agent, candidate, or party official shall be permitted to accompany a voter into the voting compartment. Other amendments approved so far include that the presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to the IRF portal in real time, and such transmission shall be done after the prescribed Form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidate or polling unit agents were available at the polling unit. Also, the use of national identity number for voter registration was approved by the House. Clause 89 sub 3 seeking to criminalize inducement of delegates in the primary election was rejected by the House. One other major amendment to the Electoral Act is the increase in campaign financing and expenditure. The House also approved that an individual or entity cannot donate to a candidate more than 500 million naira. Now, Thursday's plenary session in the House of Representatives commenced with a twist as the defections in Rivers State extended to federal lawmakers loyal to the governor. 3 from the People's Democratic Party and 1 from the Labour Party defected to the majority All Progressives Congress. It's time now for Constituency Focus with Representative Adebayo Balogun, who represents Ibejuleki Federal Constituency of Lagos State in the House of Representatives.
we've been able to build at least about four schools, 4 classrooms, blocks of classrooms, hospital, a federal medical center annex has been brought into the federal constituency at Labora Wode. When we talk about schools, we have the Sulalade Junior Secondary School, we have the Balogun Sanusi Primary School, we have the Debojo Secondary School, and now we are still working on 1 or 2 that would be completed very soon. And in area of empowerment, because Ibejuleki used to be an agrarian local government until this dispensation when a lot of activities have been brought over, talking about the free trade zone, Lekki deep sea port, Dangote refinery, and all the rest. This has actually changed the occupation of the people. And then we need to now train and retrain people in line with the reality on ground. One, people have to ensure that people get into the mainstream of most of these projects, the Dangote refinery and the rest. That means we must start training our children to be engineers, chemical engineers, petroleum engineers, even people into diving because of the deep sea port and all the rest. So we started encouraging our youths to ensure that they not just go to the university, but to take the right courses. And in the process, we're also encouraging, assisting them in provision of JAM forms, bursaries, and all the stuff, financial assistance for the students. And for the artisans, there must be people who must, because we have the largest real estate development too in Ibejuleki because of all this industrialization. So we've been able to do a lot of training for them in this field, working with the NDE, Nigerian Directorate of Employment, because if you work with them, they're able to give them certification, trade tests, and some of these certifications that will be able to make them work in some of these factories at the end of the day. So we'll be able to train at least close to 200-300 during the past few years. And also giving empowerment in terms of materials, deep freezers, fridges, mini buses, outboard engines, and for tailors and fashion designers too, we're giving them sewing machines and all the accessories. And for people in the beauty sector too, hairdressers and barbing, we also been able to give them their necessary kits. We did about 1,000 people about 2 years ago to ensure that most of our people are ready for the development coming in. Presently, we are working on the farmers because now food has been a major problem, feeding ourselves. Like I said, Ibejuleki has the largest landmass, 646 square kilometers in Lagos. So we told our people, even if you have sold land to people who are doing real estate, most of them have not started developing yet. You can still work with them and farm on the land. Ensure that you're only farming shrubs and vegetables. Don't go into long-term, perennial agriculture like planting of palm trees and all the rest. Just plants, cassava, vegetable. Those are things we can easily harvest when they come. And we just distributed about 500 bags of fertilizer recently. For the fish farmers too, we are going to give them this fish tank so that we want to start with 10 groups. We establish 10 groups. We give you the fish tanks with all the feedings and all the fish. At least we'll monitor them. If you can prove yourself to be to have interest in this, we can start taking some individuals later, but we want to start with 10 groups. So that will be 10 major tanks. I think it's about 4,000 liters a tank. That's what they use for this fish. That will take about 3,000 fish each. So we're looking at about, that means you have 3,000 into 10. That's about 30,000 fishes.
And that's the Gavel this week. Thanks for your time. Do send feedback to thegavel@channelstv.com. I'm Terry Kumi. Goodbye.